Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Invin. Today I wanted to bring you guys the fastest weapon builds in New World so that when you guys hop in for launch, following on from yesterday's video about fast leveling, tips and tricks, I'm going to be using the World Forge resource which I linked yesterday. Again, not affiliated with them, it's just a really good resource, so I will leave that linked in the description if you guys want to try out this website yourselves too. And basically what we're going to be doing is going through the fastest weapon builds, so weapons that have movement abilities or abilities that increase your movement speed in some way, or increase your sustain, that type of thing, that are going to allow you to get around the map a lot quicker, do questing a lot quicker, and all of that good stuff, mainly so that when launch comes out, you can throw on one of these weapons, as there is one for basically each of the primary stats, other than maybe focus for the life staff. But what we're going to do is go into these weapons, see which ones you can pick up if you do want to be leveling the same stats and things, and then obviously you can switch these builds out later into the game when you're not too focused on rushing around. But if you do want to get quick leveling, these are going to be the weapon guides for you. So starting off here, we have the Hatchet. Now this website gives us the amount of points that we'll have available once you get it to max level, so bear in mind obviously you will have to level the weapon up to get this, but it's the Berserk skill that you're going to want, and what that does is increase all attack damage by 20% while active. And then the second one here is actually you increase your movement speed by 20% while in Berserk buff, so you only need 2 points into that to get this movement speed ability, which is really nice. Now you can also get one that heals you, so it heals you 3 times during the 15-second period, once every 5 seconds for 30% of your max health, which is really nice. Then you can also get a trigger in Berserk, which removes all crowd control effects on you. And finally, you can get while in Berserk, your attacks are uninterruptible, so if you want to level up that one fully, it gives you a nice bit of sustain, great damage, great DPS for expeditions, questing, all that good stuff, and is also really useful in PvP, so it's one of the best skills. And then once you've got all of those, you can actually go straight down to Defy Death, which will mean that you can stay at 50 HP for 3 seconds when you would have otherwise died, which just gives you that little bit extra time to do a potion or some food, which will keep you in the fight and keep you alive a lot longer for probably an uncountable amount of times. It really helped me in the beta, so it's definitely going to be worth using. Another thing to note on the Hatchet, if you are going to go down this route as well, is you can actually get just 1 point into a passive off the throwing tree, which is aimed throw. You're not going to be that bothered about blocking with the axe like I wasn't, or the Hatchet rather, like I wasn't. Then you want to go ahead and throw this one, because this just gives you a little bit of a ranged option, particularly if you're going to use this paired with something like a great axe. Having the ability to throw these axes is going to be really useful, so it's definitely something I would recommend picking up along the way here. Now the next one, obviously like I mentioned there, is going to be the great axe. Now here we've got a few different things. Charge is the skill that we want to get, so you want to build into this, and you can build in whichever passive you want off the first there, but I'm just going to go for that top right one. And then we're going to build charge. Obviously this one gives it a bit of extra weapon damage. Then you need to build some more passives, so you could build something like Death's Embrace, you could build something like Critical Condition, and then you unlock the final bit, which is during the charge you can right mouse button. None of these actually increase your charge speed or charge duration, so you don't really need to upgrade the charge. If you're just going for the movement one, you can just get the base skill, and this is really good as it gives you a 10-meter charge, which is really quick, and it does have a cooldown of 20 seconds, but it's super good for moving about, used as an engage, a disengage, a reposition, or indeed just moving around the settlement. Really good skill and super useful for leveling fast. So the next weapon we're going to look at here is actually the Fire Staff. Now, as a lot of you guys will guess, this one is also really good for movement. You need to be on the Pyromancer side of the tree. It's the far right skill called Burnout that we're looking to get. So first of all, I'm just going to go for Flamethrower, because I would probably use that when I'm farming PvE mobs and doing quests anyway, because it's a super good skill. Then we can just get random passive, and then you can actually get the ability there, which is dash forward, leaving a wall of fire behind you. Residual flames will catch enemies on fire, dealing 5% weapon damage for each second for 13 seconds, so it's pretty good. And then you can upgrade that with Fire Staff cooldowns are reduced by 2% for each for hit by burnout, which is nice. And you can also get the third one here, which is really good, which is Burnout travels 50% further, so you can zoom around the map with this one. Really useful, and for anyone that wants to be a mage type role, or at least use the Fire Staff as part of their build, this particular skill is going to be super good for a number of different things, but particularly while grafting those early levels and getting that movement speed up, that is something which I would really recommend getting your hands on. You can also get another really useful ability with the Fire Staff, which is in the form of the combat speed passive down the bottom here, which is when you activate a Fire Staff ability, you gain 10% haste for 5 seconds. This is another little thing that you can just add on to the build there, which means that every time you use an abilities, you can actually then just move a little bit quicker. So you're going to use your burnout, then you're going to run faster for 5 seconds, seconds after that as well, which is really, really nice. And that's on a 10-second cooldown. The burnout's on a 20 seconds, so you can pretty much just keep running these back, and it's very, very quick to move around. So we are now going to look at the bow, and on this tree we've got a few different things which are all really, really nice for the build. So first one is Catch Me If You Can, which is when you are surrounded by 3 or more foes within 3 meters of you. You gain 20% haste, so you can move around a lot quicker, and the bow works really, really well if you pair it with a light armor set, so you are able to get that dodge roll involved, because then you're able to get a ton more momentum with these dodges, and this haste boost really, really helps. Now, as well as this, you've also got, if you hit a foe with 100% health, it causes 10% slow, so it's really good for if you're trying to evade. You've then got Dodge and Weave, which is after you dodge, gain a 10% haste or movement speed for 2 seconds. So each time you dodge roll, you're then going to be able to run faster for 2 seconds. You can do it again, and if you mix in here some dodge cancelling, so every time you roll cancel, you switch weapons when you do that. If you switch from another weapon to the bow halfway through your dodge, you're going to get this bonus, and you're going to get the bonus, which is where you gain 10 haste for 5 seconds when you swap to your bow. So if you're going to use any other weapon, spear, sword, staff, whatever it is, you switch to the bow mid-roll, and you will get loads and loads of speed buff to be able to run for a long time, for at least 5 seconds there, with 10 extra haste, which is really, really nice. And a lot of people are using this in the beta, and it works super, super well. It's a very fast build, and not to mention the bow is a ton of fun, so it's definitely worth trying this one out if you're trying to go for that ranger ability type style of gameplay. It's a lot of fun and very, very quick. Now, it's worth mentioning here that the Rapier isn't actually a very quick weapon in terms of abilities, but if you are going to go down the route of using this weapon anyway, what you can actually do is get the ability on the grey side of the tree here, which is called Swiftness. Now, this gives you plus 3% haste for 4 seconds on any hit, and it stacks up to 5 times. So if you're going to be fighting mobs, or you're going to be fighting players, if you hit 5 times on a player, that means you're going to be getting plus 15% haste for 4 seconds after that, which is really, really nice, and it means that you're going to have a long time to be able to sprint out very, very quickly. So it's a really good little ability there if you're not wanting to focus solely on a movement speed weapon, you wanted to use this weapon anyway. That's going to be a really good ability that can help you move around a lot quicker. Again, another thing to mention here is actually on the sword and shield. For any of you guys that might be looking down the tanking route, you can also get a critical precision passive on the Swordmaster skill tree here, which gives you, on critical hit, can 20% haste for 5 seconds. So essentially 20% faster movement speed for 5 seconds on a critical hit, which is only a chance percentage to get, but it is still very, very nice, which means you can clear expeditions and mobs very, very quickly, and it could be very useful in PvP for catching up to people and also stun locking them down a little bit, maybe catching aggro from mobs in different PvE activities. So it's just another nice little nifty tactic if you are going to be a sword and shield user that you'll probably find very, very useful. Now, one other nifty little thing to look at here is actually on the dexterity points. If you're going to be going for a dexterity attribute build, when you get to 100 points in dexterity, it will actually give you a plus 20% haste for 3 seconds after skinning. So if you are going around doing some skinning and you maybe want to do that a little bit quicker, you've got a dex build anyway, that is something that you're going to be able to get at 100 attributes into dexterity. So whether that's from armor or attribute points solely, it doesn't matter, and that's going to be a really nice extra little bonus boost there that you can get when you are going around and doing some skinning, just to get those crafting levels up and gathering levels up, that sort of thing. So it's a nice little nifty extra bonus for you guys there. Now, like I said, it does mean that you're going to want light armor for most of these weapons to make them the most efficient as possible, especially if you're going to be using the bow. The bow is super, super good with light armor, getting those dodge rolls around. But hopefully you guys have found this video useful to find out some of the more nifty weapons that you can use. Hopefully one from each category, although there isn't really one for healers. If you're focusing on the focus attribute, it's kind of like you're probably going to want the fire staff for movement, but it's entirely up to you guys what you use. Those are just going to be your fastest options in terms of movement speed abilities and things that are going to make you go quicker in the game in a multitude of different ways. So feel free to copy some of the passives that I've used in this video. Have a look for yourself. Like I said, the website, I'm not affiliated with it at all, but it's a really, really good resource, so I'll leave it linked in the description of this video like I did with yesterday's video, so you guys can pick that up and have a look through the website yourself and make some builds around these speed type movement abilities if you do want to as well. Other than that, as always, if you have found today's video useful and informative, please do drop a like on it, as it really, really does help me and the channel out. And if you are new to the channel, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe down below. We're getting super, super close to 3k subs, and I really, really appreciate all the support so far, so that would mean a lot if you could help me out there. And other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching. Take care and peace.